How are you doing? I'm Martin from Gardens for Life in Birdland Homestead. In this video I'm going to give you a challenge. If you could only keep 3 of the following tools for the rest of your life, which ones would they be? Let me know in the comments below. If you can think of any other tools that you would rather keep, let me know as well. So in this video it's going to be gardening tools, but next time it's going to be homesteading tools.
A good YouTube dog.
Which tools would you pick, Levi?
He would pick his paws.
So we've got digging tools here and cutting tools and an extra bonus item at the end. So personal protection items. Which ones would you pick?
I'd pick a rake, a secateurs, and some gloves.
All right, good choice. I'll tell you which ones I'd pick later on. Well, of course, you could probably think you couldn't do without a shovel. Well, all of our gardening is actually no dig, so do we really need a shovel? We do use it, but only to dig holes, just to plant trees and that type of thing. And we do use it to shovel compost, for example. Sometimes we don't move compost with the wheelbarrow, usually we get a tractor with a front loader to give us a hand with that, and maybe to top off garden beds once a year, just with a little bit of it, we might use a shovel. And wood chips in general are best shoveled with a wide mouth shovel as well, or just with a rake. Actually, it's even handier. So yeah, a shovel, you might think it's a must-have. Maybe I would pick it. I don't know yet. I'll tell you in a minute. So a rake. Would I pick a rake? What's a rake good for? A rake is good for a lot of things, and once you have your garden covered in wood chips, once you're doing the full back to Eden gardening, that means just covering all of your gardens with a layer of compost and wood chips. Well, then all you need is a rake, just to keep the wood chips raked flat, and to fill your wheelbarrow with a rake as well. So rakes are awful handy, but a bit flimsy, you know. I mean, when I'm asking you which tool would you pick, it doesn't have to be one particular tool. You can have that type of tool for the rest of your life. So hoe, would you pick a hoe? I don't personally use it at all. Now this is actually a Dutch hoe, and there is better ones than that. I personally haven't used them though, but I know that there is one with a razor sharp wire at the bottom, and you can cut the roots of weeds off with it. So would you pick a hoe? I don't know. But just even between these 3 here, it's kind of a hard choice. And cutting tools, a secateurs. A secateurs is something I use every single day of the year. So it's definitely a strong candidate for me, and I usually put it into my holster. You can use the secateurs for all kinds of different jobs. For example, pruning or cutting back bushes, for example, or even you can use the secateurs to multiply your plants as well through propagation. So it's pretty much probably the most important tool you can have. And if you get a good quality one, like a Felco, for example, you can just keep sharpening the blade, and it'll pretty much last you forever. You can also replace that bit as well, the blade itself. And yeah, I made another video about comparing cheap secateurs with expensive secateurs. So take a look at that if you want to. I put a link in at the end. Silky saws, so a pruning saw. You can cut back trees with that. Look at that. I love silky saws. They're just the best, and we're a big fan of them now. And this saw will cut through anything in 1 second. Let me find something to cut. There's a branch now. You don't even need a secateurs anymore when you have this, but of course secateurs is quicker and easier. But this will go through any thickness of material. Secateurs is only really good for up to 1 inch maximum, and this one of course will do probably 3 or 4 inches. 4 inches is probably a reasonable thickness of a tree or a branch to cut with this. But they are now generally speaking known as folding saws or pruning saws, and they're brilliant because you can just fold them together like so, watch your fingers, don't get them stuck in it, because it is very, very sharp. It's a pull saw as well. It only cuts on the pull. So then you can put it into this little holster, and you can actually attach it to your belt using this loop here. So I'm a big fan of it, but I don't use it that often. Definitely great for making, even for cutting pallets and firewood. Brilliant saws. I'm going to make a different, another video just about silky saws on its own someday. And or would you go for the secateurs or the saw or a loppers? I guess it depends on your circumstances and what exactly you're doing in your garden, what kind of garden you have, whether you have trees in your garden. This is definitely for thicker materials, so you can probably cut up to maybe 1.5 inches or 2 inches of material. But 1 inch to 1.5 inches of material, so 2.5 to 4 centimeters, it'll cut through it like butter. And I'm delighted we got this last autumn, and it is a brilliant job. This is the 60 centimeter loppers from Felco. So it's so light as well. It's way lighter than the Aldi and Lidl ones that we're used to for 15 quid. This one is not 15 quid. This one is a bit more, all right. It's 99 euro actually. But we're going to have it for life, and I'm delighted we have it because I've already used it so much, and it paid for itself in less than a year. But a lopper is definitely a good candidate for this challenge. Silky saws and Felco secateurs and loppers are available through our links below. We highly appreciate your support. So those are the tools. So we got 3 hand tools and 3 cutting tools as a choice for you, and a little bonus as well. We're going to add on the gloves as well. So you have different gloves for different purposes. So these are thinner and they're much more comfortable to wear. You could use them to pull up weeds, I guess, or you could use them to dig up roots as well. That's what I like to use them for. You might say, what kind of gardener uses gloves? A real gardener doesn't use gloves. They get their fingernails dirty. Well, believe me, when I'm out there, I could be out there all day digging up stuff. Jeez. The dogs are running around. With gloves in general, they just protect your hands and they keep you going. So that way you don't get any thorns in your hands, and you don't wear out your hands as much. Of course, you can build up calluses instead, and that's good for times when you can no longer get gloves, or maybe they go up in price and you can no longer afford them. I don't think that's ever going to happen anytime soon now. But if you like gloves, stock up on them and buy 10 packs of them. They do wear out eventually. For the purpose of this challenge, I'm going to say you can get you could pick gloves as one of your 3 tools that you want to keep for the rest of your life, but of course you get to replace the gloves as well. So thinner gloves, I found thinner gloves are much nicer to wear, whereas thicker gloves are great for example, for thorns or briars or that type of thing, but even nettles as well. I found that a lot of those actually do still sting through the thinner gloves. But be careful, be aware with hawthorn and blackthorn, they will go through this as well. So they're vicious. Leather gloves are great, but they can sometimes have a thorn go through the seams as well. Whereas they're better, but they're also very hard on your hands. They're very hard for your hands to bend as well. So a bit more challenging to wear these, and they do wear out your hands as well in terms of tiredness. But you won't get stung if you have a lot of nettles and thistles to pull up. So I don't know if I could go without gloves forever. That could be one of my top 3 now. And of course, if you live somewhere wet, especially with waterlogged grounds or boggy grounds, you will find that wellies are probably going to be a sensible choice for you. So these are neoprene wellies actually, and they keep you warm in the winter. Not sure if they're suitable for the summer, but you may need to get some summer wellies as well. But wellies as a whole, would you pick them? I don't know. I guess it depends on your circumstances. So which ones would I pick personally? I think I'd go with, I could probably do without the rake, but I'd go with the shovel. I'd go with the shovel, and I'd go with the secateurs, and I'd go with gloves.
And Viva's going with the shovel too, he's digging.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you the next time. And if you'd like to support us, you can join our Patreon page or become a member of Gardens for Life. Or you can just come to our Homesteaders of Ireland swap meet on the 12th of May. We will see you the next time. Bye bye.